guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. This reading vlog I'm so excited for because it's going to be very cozy, very fall oriented, obviously, as the videos have been on my channel recently. But more than that, I'm gonna be tackling three, count them, three, ultra popular, very hyped. Some of them are brand new releases, fall reads that I feel like are going to be peak fall reading and vibes, and I'm just excited to check these out and see what I think about them, but just in general, settle in for a good week together, you know? So without further ado, let's go ahead and chat about my TBR. I'm pumped for it, and I'm hoping these are all gonna be like 5 out of 5 star for me. So as I said, we have 3 books on the TBR. First is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. This was one of my most anticipated releases for the entire year. This is a feminist reimagining of Macbeth, centering Lady Macbeth as our main character. Overall, I've heard good things about this, but also sometimes a little, you know, some people love it, some people don't, so I'm really curious to see where I'm gonna fall. The synopsis is super weird, which calls out to me. And I mean, the book itself has to be one of the most beautiful books I have on my shelf. Next up, we have The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. I actually think I'm gonna start with this book. This is a murder mystery standalone following Stevie from the Truly Devious trilogy. A thriller murder mystery story, screams very fall for me. And in general, I just love Maureen Johnson's writing. They're fun and campy, but like really get my heart going. So I feel like it's like a great combination of things. And then lastly, I have Karen Marie Moning's The House at Watch Hill. This is the first book to her brand new urban fantasy series set in Louisiana. I think it centers witches. I think it's going to be vibey and hopefully a little bit steamy and a little fun and entertaining. But all in all, I'm so excited about all 3 of these books. I feel like they're all hopefully going to be quick reads, really entertaining, and just like be the perfect bit of escapism, I won't lie, I need right now while I try to not get endlessly stuck in the news cycle. Anyone else? Okay, anyway, this is the TBR for this video and I could not wait. Okay, obviously we have to talk food. So my current hyperfixation meal is egg toast, but with goat cheese. And it's so good. I have these big yogurt bowls and then I eat this and then I kind of have like a later lunch situation. And I've been thinking about this all morning. Literally so yum. I don't know if this looks as good as it tastes, but I can assure you it tastes so good. Hi, I'm about to make myself a pre-dinner snack. I got some crisp looking Honey Crisp apples. Whole. Amazing. So I'm gonna cut that up. I think I'm gonna have some ranch and carrots, not with my apple. I also decided on my first book of the vlog is going to be The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. I just know I read Maureen Johnson books so fast and I feel like that's what I need right now. So definitely gonna start this tonight as well. Also tonight, and I feel like this is another important PSA, Clay and I are getting our voting plan in line because early voting in Texas has officially started today as I'm filming this and is running through November 1st. Obviously, early voting has also started in so many places across the country, from Georgia to Michigan to Pennsylvania. So please, 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 please get your voting plan in line. For Clay and I, there are so many local and statewide elections that we just want to get squared away on and make sure we know what we're doing when we go into the ballot box to fill everything out. And in Texas is nice because you can actually bring a little piece of paper. There are 3 Supreme Court justices in the state of Texas, seats that are up, which is a huge key race for us. There's the Senate race happening in Texas this election, obviously the national election. We have a mayor election happening this election. We have so many city council seats for my city, Austin. Well, I definitely know my major preferences. Tonight we're gonna be dotting the I's, crossing the T's, getting organized, and heading out in the morning tomorrow to vote, which is so wild. We'll also have early voting and just general voting resources linked down below, so y'all can track if you're able to early vote where you live. I highly recommend doing so if you've never done it before. It usually saves you so much time. It's so easy usually to early vote, though voter turnout has been quite impressive this time around, so you never know. I always say you never know what's gonna happen in the future, but you can control what's in your immediacy right now. I know we have time tomorrow, so we're going tomorrow. So anyway, gonna start The Box in the Woods tonight and gonna get my voter plan finalized and squared away. But in the meantime, I'm gonna cut up this apple to eat and I can't wait. So there's that. Yum, 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 yum. Let's go sit down and do some reading. Hello friends, we are just watching Only Murders in the Building and I started a new puzzle. There she is. Oh, and Matilda's sleeping right there. I will not deny I puzzled for way too long, but I'm now gonna do a little bit of reading before I know I'm gonna fall asleep. I was able to read 50 pages of The Box in the Woods earlier today, Very engaging right off the bat. Summer camp murder mystery story. One of my favorite setups. So probably gonna read like 10, 15 pages now. Fall asleep, wake up early, line up, go vote. I also need to pick up a toilet for our bathroom. You know, just the normal to-dos. And then I'm gonna read more of this as well. Good morning. We are proud owners of a new toilet. It's currently in our trunk. And now we're driving to go vote. Easy as that. Slay. Now time to go get treats. I also picked up a sweet treat post-voting, a little cinnamon roll, and this banana nut bread. So great morning so far. Hello everyone. Good morning. Let us do a reading update. I have read 130 pages of The Box in the Woods, and I am flying through this. This is exactly delivering what I was hoping in terms of an engaging story, an interesting mystery, the writing style of the characters. And in particular, I'm really liking this book because I already know and love Stevie. I've already read an entire trilogy centering Stevie and her friends, so it's sort of fun to get this one-off story following Stevie and her friends, kind of doing this summer vacation murder mystery situation. And because I already know the dynamics of Stevie and, again, a lot of these side characters, Maureen Johnson can just sort of jump into the story. There's little need for setup. Obviously, she does spend time sort of exploring the current reality of all of the emotions these characters are feeling, but I feel like it does allow for like a very quick start. In terms of the mystery and the overall plot, we follow Stevie during summer vacation in between going to her last year in Ellingham Academy. And Stevie is basically reached out to by this like tech company owner who's recently bought this summer camp. And the summer camp is very notorious for being in this small town. And in the 70s, there was something called the Box murders that happened there, which was a case where 4 teenagers were murdered violently in the woods and no one knew who did it, why it happened. And also given the fact that these murders occurred within a summer camp, which is also completely entrenched within the culture and the fabric of this small town, there's both small town politics and just like the time period sort of bleeding into this case, which makes it like a very notorious and famous case that's never been solved. Fast forward, Stevie's been contacted by this tech bro, bringing her to the small town, and Stevie's like looking to get out of her home. And obviously she loves to solve crime. And this tech bro has kind of like alternate desires. He sees this case as an opportunity to like make it big, make a lot of money, make a super famous podcast. And Stevie just sort of wants to solve the crime to like help this community. So from there we begin to follow the story. Per usual with Maureen Johnson's books, we have a dual timeline going on. We have the present day Stevie timeline as she's kind of getting to know people in this town. Her and her friends are getting settled into this camp and as she's trying to like uncover what happened. But we also follow the crime as it happens in the 70s and the immediate aftermath of this crime, which this is a structure of storytelling that Maureen Johnson does pretty consistently for her thriller books that I think is super successful because it allows for intensity in 2 different storylines, multiple mysteries happening at once, and just like a really engaging back and forth. And this is why I feel like I read her books so quickly. It's funny, this is my second small town summer camp 70s murder book that I've read in the past 2 months. The other one was The God in the Woods by Liz Moore. They're definitely like in the same, obviously, they have some similar inspirations, but I would say tonally and structurally they're quite different from each other. But I will say if you like one, you're probably gonna like the other. But anyway, I've read 130 pages. I'm reading this book very quickly. I'm super engaged in this mystery. I love the character work. I love the balance of humor, friendship, and intensity, but also like insightful, nuanced emotional reactions to a lot of the traumatic things that are happening in this book. It's just, I just really like Maureen Johnson's writing. And I'm curious to see how this mystery is going to unfold. And the first 130 pages read very fast. soup is done. I made white bean, green chili, chicken chili, white bean, chicken chili, white bean, green pepper, chicken chili. Say that 10 times fast. Anyway, this is really good and it used a lot of my leftovers I needed to use up. Just gonna scoop this up. This is also my puzzle progress. I've just been sitting here doing this puzzle, my chapstick, my emotional support chapstick, and doing this puzzle. I will not deny, I puzzled for a very long time, but I feel like I actually owe y'all a reading update because I read some of my book before I made dinner, and I would say I'm about halfway through now of The Box in the Woods. I'm having a really good time with this. I feel like it's the perfect mix of like what happened back then, what's happening present day. I feel like there's some really sweet moments with the friendships that are centered in this book. I feel like Maureen Johnson, like as you read more of her books, she does have elements that she tends to include in all of her stories, but I just don't feel like I get tired of those elements. I feel like they work, or they can be repurposed, or they can just like always kind of have a fresh take to them, which, you know, tracks because I just do like Maureen Johnson's writing, so it makes sense that I just wouldn't be tired of those things. I love the summer camp setting. I just think it always works, especially for a thriller. It always kind of like, you know what I mean? And I'll say like the 70s mystery is like scary. Like what happened before, like what happened in the past at this camp is like incredibly intense and dark. And that definitely has me on the edge of my seat. And there's also an element of like small town politics within this, which always I feel like adds a really interesting flair. I'm already suspicious of people. I'm side-eyeing other people. And as things begin to escalate in person around Stevie at this camp, I'm like, what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? But in terms of like a book that has a mystery, it's definitely keeping my attention. I'm gonna try to read a chunk now. My goal is to finish it tomorrow and then pivot to my next book for this vlog, which I don't think will be a problem, especially because I'll probably finish my puzzle soon, so I will have less distractions, you know? So, time to read. I will see y'all in the morning, and that's that. Good morning, everyone, from me and my yogurt bowls. Let's go read. I am happy to say I am in the home stretch. Look at this, of The Box in the Woods. So I wanted to like do a final check-in before I ultimately get to the reveal. I feel like I have my suspicions this time around on who has done it, but that doesn't mean I'm right. And I'm just curious if I'm gonna be right. This will be the first time I am ever right in a Maureen Johnson book, which even if that's the case, if it took 5 books for me to be right one time, not bad. But that aside, I'm still having a really good time. It kind of just feels like a side quest. Like, is this book as good as the Truly Devious trilogy? No, but the Truly Devious trilogy is like the core oomph story, though I feel like it totally makes sense to be able to transition like a trilogy story arc with Stevie to have it being like kind of an adventure of the week as she begins to like work as a mystery solver, you know? So I feel like the structure still works. Following Stevie in different places still works. And I'm really curious about how this series is going to evolve. Like when she goes to college, is she gonna, I don't know, have various murder mysteries to solve like on her college campus? I'm curious to find out. But the point is, I'm liking this book. It's solid. It's solidly entertaining. I read it so fast. I think the overall concept is really strong. I'm really curious to see if it's going to be as shocking and surprising at the end as some of the other books have been. I don't know. Haven't gotten there yet. I have my suspicions, but I'm having a good time. But so far, this probably ranks the lowest of her books, but like not even in a way that's supposed to be like, I'm not dogging it. It's just like my objective rating. Someone has to be at the bottom, you know? But I just love these books by Maureen Johnson, nevertheless. But this is where I'm at. I have about, what page am I on? I have about 75 pages left of this book. So I'm gonna really honestly try to finish it literally right now so we can move on to the next read, Lady Macbeth. And then I'll have almost 400 pages read for this vlog. So hopefully I can carry on that momentum as we move through the rest of the day, you know? Hello, I got dressed. I got this sweater in my Newly this month. Isn't it cute? I need to do a reading update because, good news, folks, I finished The Box in the Woods. Almost 400 pages read. I will say, for a mystery, I did guess part of it, but there's definitely an aspect to the reveal of this book I don't think anyone could have anticipated. So I was definitely like, what is going on? But thoroughly entertained, effective, I would say overall. I liked it quite a bit. Moving on now to our next fall read, one of my most anticipated releases for this season, Lady Macbeth, a vibey, dark, strange reinterpretation of the story of Macbeth, centering Lady Macbeth. This book is also sub 300 pages, so I feel like I'll be able to read it pretty quickly. And just in general, I really enjoy weird, over-the-top, vibe-centric books. So I'm really hoping like Ava Reid goes for it in this. Like, make it nonsensical, make it weird. I want it all, you know what I mean? So yeah, first book down, second book of the vlog, we're about to get started. I feel like I'm pretty on track for my fall reading goals for this video, but we gotta stay on top of it. So there's that. Oh, also, part of why I didn't do a lot of check-ins is because I did finish my entire puzzle last night. I watched 5 episodes of Love is Blind and did this puzzle. So here we are, but it's complete now, so it can't distract me any longer. The naked hardback of Lady Macbeth is unreal. Like the color choice, everything about it. 10 out of 10. Nay and I are very into this show. Still very much on my Animal Crossing game. Hello, I got new glasses. I went to the eye doctor's today, so slay. But I have a reading update for you guys too, because I have started, obviously, Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid, and I'm actually going to sit down now and do more reading. But I've read 50 pages of this book, and I am actually pretty pleased so far. I was curious what I was going to think about this, because the reviews are more undecided, let's say, than I was expecting in comparison to some of her other releases. This is actually an adult fantasy novel, and let's just say, first 50 pages, the vibes and the writing are as vague and strange and weird and dark as I was hoping. It's also maybe not the easiest thing to follow, but I feel like that energy fits the ambiance that the author is trying to create in terms of capturing the literal time period of this like Macbeth play. Also fantastic, and it just like is so eerie and visual. I'm also a bit of a Macbeth stan, so I'm just excited to read this sort of Lady Macbeth centered story. But to take a step back, we're basically introduced to our main character, Rosella, and we find her as she's just about to enter her new husband's home, who is Scottish. She's entering this keep, which is remote, distant, on the shores of an angry sea. She herself is like 17, and she is the beautiful bastard daughter of a powerful duke who's using her to gain an alliance, basically. She herself has been titled as a cursed person from a witch, because she's like beautiful and she has these eerie eyes, and because witchcraft and power surrounding witchcraft was like very much a thing during this time period. And to sort of protect her, they were like, let's just make her cursed by a witch so people don't think she is a witch. But all that to say is people say that her eyes drive men crazy. She enters her new husband's house. It's very dark, it's very intense, violence and war sort of rue the day, and she's just trying to like survive. She's in this foreign place, there's like really no other women there, and she's just trying to like make it through another day. She's creating various plans, and one thing that she doesn't expect is that her husband actually has a source of power of his own. And just like, again, this book is Macbeth, right? Yes, known. But the vibes, the intensity, the darkness, the strangeness, so far very much there. And the story doesn't feel like watered down from the experience I was hoping it was going to be. And I'm really liking that so far. I like that I sort of have to pay attention to everything because it's sort of unclear or said in a convoluted way, but it just creates great ambiance. The setting is great. Someone commented recently on a video of mine and said that this book made them chilly, and I completely stand by that sentiment, because it's just like, it's very much that, like, it's a kind of story that seeps into your bones. Like the place of this book, like you can like feel it. It's like you can never get warm. It's like damp, and even though you're standing by a fire, it's doing you no good. it's got the vibes, that's for sure. So I'm gonna sit down now and read. This is sub 300 pages. I think I mentioned that, so I'm hoping to be able to finish this pretty quickly. My goal is by tomorrow. Then I can move on to my third book of the vlog. This is definitely one of the prettiest books I've bought this year, and probably one of the prettiest books on my shelf. I love vibey feminist, like historical books. It's just a soft spot I have, okay? Exciting dinner, everyone. I pre-bought my own emergency mac and cheese, but this is homemade Central Market mac and cheese. If you know, you know. So I'm gonna pop this in the oven. I have some shredded cheese to top it. I'm gonna do a little bit of panko, a little bit of garlic powder, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this, and I cannot wait. All right, now we pop this in the oven. 20 minutes. My cozy game backlist for the year is so long, and yet I find myself just only thinking about playing Animal Crossing. It's quite literally 2020 all over again in more ways than one. All that to say is I'm gonna play Animal Crossing and catch up on Survivor, because I'm super behind on Survivor this season. I don't know how it happened. So far I'm liking Survivor. I'm only seeing, I think I'm on the 3rd episode. The cast is interesting. I love a wacky cast, and I think this is delivering wacky cast energy, so I can respect it. And I'm really curious to see what's gonna progress, especially when like real strategy begins to happen. I do wish they'd get rid of the 3 tribes. Let's go back to 2 tribes. Survivor fans know. But anyway, I'm gonna watch and wait for my mac and cheese to be done. And my mac and cheese is complete. All right, friends, my Animal Crossing marathon is over, and we're sitting down to do more reading. I was able to get past the 100-page mark before I took a break this evening. I can confirm the conspiracy, the magic, the intrigue of this is definitely growing. The strength of this is the vibes, and I think the writing style, and for me, those 2 things collectively are working quite well. I wouldn't say there's like an immense amount of depth in a lot of the characterization, but I don't know if I'm so bothered by it. I do feel like we get the most depth, obviously, from our main character, because like we're in her head as she's explaining her strategies, her fears, her concerns, her just experience as a woman in this situation. But like even not having a lot of depth for like the husband or the stepson and like that sort of thing, again, doesn't bother me because I feel like it aligns with the vibiness of the overall tale and story, you know? But anyway, I'm gonna read more now. It's gonna be great. We're on track to finish this book. Hello, good morning. Hi. I read a lot of Lady Macbeth last night and into this morning. So much, in fact, I have very little left, about 40 pages. I'm really liking this book. I feel like Ava Reed so far going into this final sequence of the story, and we'll see how the ending sort of brings everything together. I feel like she stayed really true to not only the source material, but the vibe, message, and theme that she's trying to express with this. And a difference I feel like with this book, I think in comparison to some of her other books I've read, I feel like she is more comfortable like not being so explicit where she's hitting you over the head. Like it's very clear what she's trying to say. And I feel like has a little bit more subtlety to her success within this book. And I actually think it makes it feel more powerful, more stark, more dark, more harrowing, more disturbing as we're sort of reading and following our main character throughout the sort of sequence of this book. Maybe that's because this is an adult novel, not a YA novel, but I like it. Something else I really appreciate about this book from like an aesthetics point of view and just how she's going about the portrayal of it is actually the fantastical elements. I wouldn't even really, like, this is probably technically fantasy because there is fantasy elements to it, but it is this sort of like historical fantasy story where the magic feels like it should be real. Like when you're reading, like that feeling when you're reading a time and a place that is so far back and where religion and folklore and all of these things sort of mesh together to create this sense that, yeah, supernatural things could have existed then. Like, obviously, no, but it just like makes it feel different. And I feel like this sort of magic infused with superstition, infused with just like the unknowns of this time period, I feel like just creates an ambiance that is very, 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 very effective. And the conversation and the themes around power and choice and revenge and just the sort of reframing of the story, I'm personally just like really enjoying. The ambiance, the setting, like everything is shining quite well. And I also feel like Ava Reid's writing has never felt better to me. I also really loved A Study in Drowning, where I also feel like her writing shined in regards to like her ambiance. Like I just feel like she's really good at creating a vibe, a setting, a stage for things to sort of unfold in, and in particular making everything feel kind of murky and you're unclear, and it has this like old fairy tale quality to it, and I feel like that works not only for a Shakespeare retelling, obviously here, but I just feel like it's adding to everything. So I'm just really enjoying this book. I was like really unsure about how I was gonna feel about this going in, but I love an unclear, murky, strange retelling. So I should have known I was gonna like it. And honestly, like the less clear, the better. Honestly. And not to say this is like super confusing. I think the beginning is maybe a little confusing, but I feel like once you get settled into the story, the narrative is like very clear and easy to follow. Good stuff. I'm excited to finish this very soon. Sitting down right now to finish this book. I'm still not over the aesthetics. Stunning.
Lunch?
The losing six got nothing for you.
Jeff Probst. Classic.
Hi, we're veering into Friday evening. I'm wrapping up some of my to-dos. One of those to-dos, I finished Lady Macbeth, and I'm happy to report I actually liked the end sequence. Like, overall, I was very entertained by this, and I feel like it delivered what I was hoping it was going to be delivering to me. I also feel like I went in with like oddly lower expectations because of some of the more mixed reviews I've seen. But upon reading it, it became very clear to me quickly that this is a type of book for me. And I can also read something like this and understand why other people might not like it as much as me, but inherently it's just like my kind of book. The inputs, the strangeness, like even like there was decisions made, like even in some of the dynamics between characters that might be like so weird and off-putting for people, but I was like, yeah, this is weird, let's keep going. What else do we have going on? Also, I mean, it definitely follows the known sequence of Macbeth, but also that does make sense, it is Lady Macbeth. And I just found it to be like a really compelling, interesting book. Great writing. I feel like Ava Reid keeps getting better and better with every release of hers that I read, which I think is a great sign. And I feel like she's definitely cementing herself as an author that's becoming kind of an auto-buy for me because of her love of vibes. And I'm a lover of vibes as well. That being said though, tonight is the night we start the third book of this vlog. This is hopefully going to be like a lighter read, because I will say there are some dark themes in this and a few different trigger warnings that I do want to call out. This is an urban fantasy story by Karen Marie Moning. I haven't read a Karen Marie Moning book in a while, but I have read some of her other series and they're just like fun and entertaining. So this is her like witch-centric newer release, and I'm really hoping it's just like super, 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 super entertaining. I'm gonna start it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it for this vlog, and I have another romantasy I want to read next week anyway, so if I'm not able to finish it, I will finish it for that video. Anywho, you know, double romance, but we're gonna just see how far we can get. I've already read almost well into the 700 page mark for this vlog, which I am pleased with. And for now, I'm gonna do a little more picking up around the house, and then I'm gonna go play Animal Crossing. I will say, Animal Crossing has been taking up so much of my life, but it's also been the perfect carrot. Like, I feel like all I can think about is how I want to play Animal Crossing, and it makes me do everything else I need to do in my life a lot faster because of that. So I guess that's good. I don't know. Okay, bye. Doing what I do best and also catching up on Bravo. Obviously. Hi guys, and welcome to the end of the vlog. The next day, I'm here to wrap up the 3 books I was able to read and feature over the course of this vlog. I'm gonna start with The House at Watch Hill by Karen Marie Moning. I was able to read 70 pages of this book last night, and I have to say I am really entertained by this so far, and I'm very excited to continue to read it over the course of this weekend and read it into my next reading vlog. Generally speaking, I've noticed a trend that I do much better. I have a much higher success rate with more traditional like urban fantasy romance series and stories. I feel like I find that these series have a lot of the trappings of currently popular romantasy with the, you know, the dynamic between the characters, the level of romantic interaction, some of the cheesy aspects of those that I often still roll my eyes at. It's not necessarily my favorite part of the book, but those things tend to also be paired with like really interesting storylines, which I feel like we're getting with this. I am so intrigued to see where this book is going, and I'm sure I'm also gonna have like lots of alpha men that are going to annoy me over the course of this series too, but I feel like it'll be like a good balance of things where it's fun and not too annoying with a plot that is intriguing me so far. To take a step back, this book introduces us to our main character, Zoe, and Zoe has had it quite tough for many, many years. At the beginning of this novel, Zoe is working lots of jobs. Her mother is very, very ill with cancer, and she is struggling. She's also incredibly close with her mother, so it's like a sacrifice that she's willing and able to make, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it is an incredibly difficult thing. Financially, she's also in very dire straits. Due to a variety of events, she also finds out at the beginning of this book that she is the sole inheritor of this like massive estate in Louisiana. So she goes, she's suspicious, she's like, there's gotta be a catch, and turns out all she has to do is live in this house at the top of Watch Hill for 3 years, and she inherits a massive fortune in the entire house. So she's obviously like, even if this is a catch, I've still gotta try because I need this. It will change my life. So she moves in. And I've only read 70 pages, and so far we've had a romantic encounter with a very alpha core dude, which I was like, eh. To be honest, it was giving like werewolf vibes, just saying. But you also have this town and there's these people, and like immediately there's a conspiracy that begins to like be told to you. I feel like there's gonna be lots of different supernatural figures. I feel like there's gonna be witchcraft, maybe vampires, maybe other people, I don't know. It's just like the house thing, it's really sucked me in. Like the last few chapters I read specifically ended in cliffhangers. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? At first I was a little like unsure because it had this like romanticy, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be for me. But as the plot began to sort of reveal itself in the setup of the story, I was like, actually, I need to know what's going to happen next. So far I'm pleased, and I'm excited to see, and I will keep y'all posted as I read more. But the other 2 books I was able to complete for this vlog, I read through and through. Obviously, first we had Lady Macbeth, a feminist reimagining of the tale of Macbeth. Very vibey, love the writing style, love the ambiance created by this author, and in general, I was like very pleased with the progression of this plot. Really wouldn't change too much. I was entertained. This is definitely a style of book that I just personally enjoy. Would recommend this. And then I also read The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson, which is like a standalone novel within the Truly Devious series. Summer camp murder mystery, good balance of friendship, character growth, obviously a bone-chilling mystery at the core. Not my favorite Maureen Johnson novel. Aspects of it I did guess, and sometimes it felt like a little, like the reveals felt a little out of like left field in comparison to some of the other books I've read of hers, but still a lot of fun, and I love Stevie, and I will read any book centering Stevie. All in all, I was able to at least start or finish 3 very popular, and I think like perfect fall reads over the course of this video, which I'm quite pleased with. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another vlog soon. Goodbye!